Caitlyn Clark didn't just meet expectations when she entered the WNBA, she shattered them. With all eyes on her and media attention at full volume, Clark managed to exceed every prediction and take the league by storm in record time. In just a few months, she's completely rewritten the rookie record books, turned a struggling team into a real playoff threat, and helped spark a fresh wave of interest in women's basketball across generations. Her impact is so massive, it's tough to find a comparable example in any sport. What we're witnessing isn't just hype, it's history in the making. Even longtime skeptics are now taking notice, including major voices in sports media, basketball insiders, influencers, and yes, even the internet critics who once doubted her. One of her biggest supporters now, Shaquille O'Neal, the legendary Big Diesel, has always had a bold voice in the basketball world, especially through his work on Inside the NBA. A natural showman, Shaq's opinions often stir conversation, and he's been paying close attention to the rise of the women's game, largely thanks to the electric rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark. As an LSU alum, Shaq was firmly in Angel's corner during her college run. He closely followed her face-offs with Clark, especially their epic NCAA championship clash in 2023. In fact, Shaq once went so far as to call Angel Reese the best player to ever come out of LSU, ahead of even himself and the legendary Pistol, Pete Maravich. That kind of praise doesn't come lightly, especially from a Hall of Famer with 4 NBA titles and an MVP trophy. Even Angel herself was a little taken aback by his bold praise. But now, as Clark continues to light up the WNBA, even Shaq seems to be rethinking where greatness truly lies.
Yeah, Shaq told me that I was the best player to come out of LSU. It puts a lot of pressure on me, and I feel like I haven't done anything.
Shaquille O'Neal once told Angel Reese she was the best player to ever come out of LSU, a massive compliment that she admitted felt like serious pressure. Despite her humility, she achieved what legends like Shaq and Pistol Pete Maravich never did, winning an NCAA championship for LSU. That victory, paired with new NIL rules, opened major doors. Before finishing college, Reese landed a high-profile shoe deal, not with Nike or Adidas, but with Reebok. The choice was symbolic. Reebok is on a comeback mission, and its new head of basketball operations is none other than Shaq himself. The deal made headlines, signaling more than just a business move. It marked the start of a visible, ongoing mentorship. Shaq has taken on an informal advisory role, offering Reese guidance on basketball, professionalism, and navigating life as a rising star. He's never hidden his admiration for her, backing her long before she turned pro, as he put it. His goal is to help her avoid the mistakes he made and build something lasting on and off the court.
I was just, telling her how to handle adversity, how to handle, controversy. And, with a person like her, you don't really want to come and say, do this and do that. I was just coming and, giving her encouraging words, just telling her, to hang in there.
While it's unclear just how close Angel Reese and Shaquille O'Neal remain now that she's in the WNBA, one thing is certain. Shaq has always been in her corner. He's never shied away from showing his support, especially before the season. Tipped off when he openly backed Reese as a future star. To his credit, Shaq has always kept things respectful and professional. He's been vocal about his admiration for the growth of the women's game as a whole. But when it came to Reese, he made his allegiance known. He was often spotted courtside at Chicago Sky games, proudly cheering on his Reebok protege and keeping a close eye on her progress. And with Reebok banking on Reese's rise, Shaq's interest wasn't just personal, it was professional too. As the brand's head of basketball operations, her success is part of a bigger play to return Reebok to relevance. That's why his recent comments came as a surprise to many after another head-to-head matchup between Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark, one that ended in a dominant Fever win. It seemed Shaq had a change of heart. His words, as always, came off as honest and heartfelt. This time, though, there was a tone of acceptance, as if he knew the Rookie of the Year race might already be over. She does everything right, he said about Caitlyn, before admitting something he hadn't publicly shared before. Angel is my girl, Shaquille O'Neal said, but I can truthfully say Caitlyn Clark is for real. Coming from a man who's played alongside legends like Penny Hardaway, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James, those words carry serious weight. Shaq didn't just praise Caitlyn, he broke it all down. She makes the smart passes, the right plays, keeps her composure under pressure, and doesn't flinch even when defenders try to rattle her. She's a great one, he added. She's the real deal. Shaq, who spent nearly 20 years dominating the NBA, knows exactly what playing the right way looks like. And despite his close ties to Angel Reese, both as a fellow LSU alum, and through their shared Reebok connection, he couldn't ignore what Clark is doing night after night. This moment feels bigger than just praise. It may be a turning point in how the sports world talks about Caitlyn Clark, if someone with both personal loyalty and financial interest in Reese is now openly recognizing Clark as the standout. It begs the question, can anyone in the media deny her impact anymore? There was never much doubt that Caitlyn Clark would elevate the WNBA spotlight. She already turned women's college basketball into a national obsession. It was always assumed. Her massive fan base would follow her into the pros. The only real mystery? How fast would she adjust, and how long would it take for everyone else to catch up? In simple terms, the Caitlyn Clark effect didn't just arrive, it exploded. Everyone expected her to bring attention to the WNBA, but no one predicted the impact would be this big, this fast, and this lasting. Not only did her influence carry over from college, it actually grew stronger in the pros. The numbers say it all. Every one of the 12 most-watched WNBA games in 2024 featured the Indiana Fever. Combined, these games pulled in between 1.2 and 2.3 million viewers each across all platforms. To put that in perspective, the average NBA game last season drew about 1.56 million viewers, and that's not even counting the 2024 WNBA All-Star Game, which soared to 3.4 million viewers, the highest since the league's debut season in 1997. But Clark's impact isn't just on screens, it's in the seats too. The Indiana Fever have gone from drawing just over 4,000 fans a night in 2023 to now leading the league with nearly 177,000 total fans in attendance so far. That's a massive leap and a massive win for league revenue. Put simply, Caitlyn Clark is printing money for the WNBA. Her rising stardom isn't just about points and highlights. It's driving ticket sales, TV ratings, sponsorships, and long-term growth. And as her trophy case starts to fill up, the business side of the league is only going to rise with her. And none of this is lost on Shaquille O'Neal. Yes, he's one of the greatest centers in basketball history. Yes, he's a fan favorite, TV personality. But Shaq is also a savvy businessman with a portfolio full of smart investments that keep his empire growing. He's always looking for the next big opportunity, and he knows star power when he sees it. That's why he's long understood the business potential of aligning with athletes who move the needle. And Caitlyn Clark is exactly that. Shaq recognizes that today's game isn't just about talent, it's about influence, visibility, and market impact. He sees the wave Clark is creating, and he knows it's bigger than basketball. She's not just filling arenas, she's shifting the entire business landscape of women's sports. And as this next clip shows, when Shaq talks about teaming up with stars, he's not just speaking as a fan, he's thinking like a mogul.
I wanted to start a business. The way I learned business was a gentleman gave me a book, The Dummy's Guide to Starting Your Own Business. When I was reading it, wasn't familiar with anything, but it was a chapter that really piqued my interest, joint ventureships.
Let's be honest, this is a bad time to be a Caitlyn Clark hater. She's playing at a near MVP level, dragging a struggling franchise into the playoff conversation and straight to the top of the WNBA's revenue charts. Caitlyn isn't just the standout of her rookie class, she's the clear leader of her team, and the system around her is starting to click. That's why the noise from early skeptics has gone eerily quiet. Many of the same voices that questioned whether her game would translate to the pros or claimed Angel Reese was the better long-term bet are now walking back their takes, or avoiding the topic altogether, because at this point, speaking out against Caitlyn Clark isn't just an unpopular opinion, it's denying reality. And in the age of social media, that kind of take brings swift and fierce backlash. We're now watching a subtle shift unfold in real time. The big sports media outlets, the analysts, even former doubters, they're all starting to align around the same truth. Caitlyn Clark has not only lived up to the hype, she's blown past it. Aside from a few stubborn critics clinging to their old takes, there's growing consensus. There's a new sheriff in town. And she doesn't fit the mold many had in mind for a WNBA star. After dominating the college scene and turning women's hoops into a national obsession, Caitlyn has leveled up again. She now commands the attention of a country that once treated women's basketball like an afterthought. And now, It's becoming primetime television. Women's basketball has officially become appointment viewing, so much so that other sports are starting to take notice. A perfect example came in early September, when the first ever NFL game played in Brazil overlapped with an Indiana Fever matchup. On paper, the NFL should have been the automatic winner, but reality said otherwise. Dave Portnoy, founder of Barstool Sports and one of the loudest voices in U.S. sports media, made his stance crystal clear. Honestly, only a fool would watch NFL over the Indiana Fever and Caitlyn Clark right now. It's poetry in motion. It's art. It's beauty. Makes me want to cry tears of joy watching them, he said. It might sound dramatic, but it's also one of the most heartfelt endorsements Caitlyn Clark has ever received. And Portnoy didn't stop at words. He put $100,000 on the Fever to win the 2024 WNBA title, despite the team not having made the playoffs in years. That's not just fandom, that's belief. The significance? Massive. Portnoy's influence reaches millions, and when someone that plugged into the sports world prioritizes Clark over the NFL in a country where 51% of Americans identify as NFL fans and where 88 of the top 100 TV broadcasts in 2022 were NFL games, that's a cultural shift. Caitlyn Clark isn't just rewriting basketball records. She's reshaping the entire American sports landscape. Even if just a fraction of those loyal NFL fans start following Caitlyn Clark, the potential for her audience growth is enormous. And that leads us to a key question. Has Caitlyn Clark finally earned the full respect of the mainstream sports media? The honest answer is, not entirely, not yet. A cold shooting streak or early playoff exit could bring critics out of hiding in a heartbeat. But right now, the loudest voices in sports are backing her and calling her the future of the WNBA. This could be the tipping point, the moment when the league truly becomes associated with Caitlyn Clark above any other player, even long-established stars like Brittany Griner, Aja Wilson, or Sabrina Ionescu. The WNBA has long needed a face, someone who connects with casual fans, captures national attention, and represents the sport on a cultural level. And Clark, just 22, seems to be passing that test with flying colors. And when Stephen A. Smith, one of the most influential voices in all of sports media, takes a moment to praise you without any theatrics or hot takes, that means something. Known for his fiery opinions and unmatched basketball knowledge, Stephen A. was calm, direct, and deeply respectful when breaking down why Caitlyn Clark is a one-of-a-kind talent and why the entire sports world should be paying attention.
She's leading the league in assists. Since July 10th, she's the second leading scorer in the NBA behind Asia Wilson, averaging 23.8 points per game.
Caitlyn Clark is making history in real time. She's the first rookie in WNBA history with multiple triple-doubles and has led the Indiana Fever from rock bottom to playoff contention, all in her first season. But her impact goes beyond the scoreboard. Stephen A. Smith put it best. Caitlyn isn't just changing the game, she's changing the business. TV ratings are up, arenas are packed, players are getting bigger checks. She's elevating the entire league without ever bragging about her brand. And now Charles Barkley's speaking out, calling out media personalities for disrespecting her. He says it's time to give Caitlyn the flowers she deserves and stop letting bias get in the way of facts. The Caitlyn Clark effect is real. She's not just the future of the WNBA, she's the face of it.